Kai, front right here.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a while since we last saw you in here. I think you famously said they're giving the title shot to the wrong Kai when you won in Perth. So I guess, how's life been since then, and how long have you known this fight was happening? Because I think a lot of us assumed you would probably be on the Miami card, but instead you're fighting here on International Fight Week.
Yeah, kia ora. Awesome to be back here in Las Vegas. I guess waiting patiently has paid off. When the UFC kind of said, you're not on that Miami card, we're going to push it back. I had a feeling that something bigger was happening, and awesome to be here International Fight Week and to get rewarded, for my hard work and everything that we're doing in this division. Me and Pantoja are co-headlining one of the biggest cards of the year because they know we can deliver for the fans, and we're going to go after it. We're going to scrap, nothing but respect to Pantoja, but I want to take his head off, and I'm not leaving Vegas without that belt.
I'm sure you heard the rumblings of them re-signing Kyoji Horiguchi. Was any part of you just like, oh no, this is going to happen again? Like, they're going to give my title shot to someone else?
I can't control any of that. I can only focus on myself. And what I've been doing since, not fighting is just getting better. I've stayed in the gym since pretty much the end of last year. When they gave that title shot to Kaya Sakura, I thought, okay, I'm surely going to be the next guy. I even DM'd Pantoja after the fight and saying, bro, you know who's next. Let's do it. And then, he's a man of his word. He said, yep, I want to do it. I want to test myself against the best guys. And, me beating Steve Ercik in the first round just put me at the top of the list every time you had a conversation of who's the next guy. I'm a fresh matchup. I've got a skill set that will give Pantoja problems. And we fought 9 years ago. I was a boy back then. Now I'm a man. I know what I'm fighting for. I've got a whānau and a family to provide for. And I'm in a great place mentally, spiritually, and physically coming into my career best.
And you've been doing this for a long time. Fans of the media like to latch on to those storylines. And like you said, it was 9 years ago. But when you fought him back then, did you think he would reach this level? Did you see him as a future UFC champion when you fought all the way back on The Ultimate Fighter?
Well, he was the number one pick.
Yeah.
The number one seed. And me on that Ultimate Fighter Season 24, I was the only one to get a knockout on that show. And when I got that knockout on my first fight, that's when I fought Pantoja, the number one guy. So I knew that, this guy's going to be around for years. And there's no surprise that he became a world champion. He's so well-rounded. But his biggest strength is he's so tough and durable. He doesn't mind getting hit. Like, he loves it. And when you think he's tired and you think you can get him out, he goes even harder and ends up, hurting you. So, we're prepared very well for Pantoja. Already fighting him once before. It was a 2-round fight. It's only an exhibition fight. You can't really compare that 9 years ago to now. So, I'm excited. I wasn't training out of City Kickboxing back then either. I was training out of Thailand. And then after that fight, after the Ultimate Fighter, that's when I went back to my hometown in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and started training under Eugene. So I feel like that's all the difference. Definitely did what I needed to when I was in Thailand and got me to a certain level. But when I came back home, that's when you saw the evolution of my game.
To kind of go off of that, you've been in these big camps before, but a lot of your teammates have also been fighting around the same time, and maybe your coach has to split time and everything. So I guess what's camp been like now that it seems like all the focus can be on you to prepare for an undisputed title fight? Yeah,
that's what I talked about with the commentators. It's been awesome being selfish and having all this attention from my coaches and my teammates because they can get the best out of me. There's nowhere to hide. I'm the person in the middle. I'm the guy getting ready for this title fight. So, I've got a great team at City Kickboxing. So much love for my coaches and my teammates that push me daily, and I've just helped myself since the start of this year, just grinding. I coach a rugby league team for wrestling, and they had a game here in Vegas earlier this year, and I didn't come because I knew I've got my own belt to win, and I just wanted to give my best chance, and that was just grinding, and that's why I feel like well prepared for this. I put myself in every bad position. I've had to fight my way out of it, and this dream, I've been fighting for 15 years now. Professionally, when I first made my debut, I was 17, and now I'm 32, coming into my prime, and I'm coming into my career best. So with all that experience, the highs and the lows, the setbacks, the learning curves, I'm still here fighting, and I clawed my way back to a title shot. So I'm excited for the challenge. Nothing but respect to Pantoja, but I'm not leaving Vegas without that belt.
And in another interview, I heard you say something, I think the phrase was like, you sometimes watch your own work when you're fighting, like you'll land a big shot and you might, I was going to say, like, what exactly did you mean by that? But also, like, Pantoja seems like a guy you can't do that to, because even if you land flush, he's probably going to keep coming forward. So I guess what's it like preparing for someone like that?
Yeah, when I said that, it's just, I believe in my power, my knockout power so much that, sometimes when I fight guys, it only takes 1 or 2 shots and you've found that kill shot. But Pantoja, I know you're going to have to land at least 10 to 20 kill shots to get him out, and we're prepared for that. We're ready for the fire. I'm not taking a back step. I want to meet him in the middle, and I want to showcase all my skills and let him know that, yeah, you can't hurt me. I'm right in the middle, and I'm going to stay in his face. So even if he wants to get me to the ground, I've got the best takedown defense in this flyweight division. I've shown it time and time again against these grapplers, these wrestlers, these Klingons. The fans want to see knockouts, so that's what I deliver.
Just last one for me. We've been interviewing you for a long time. We've seen your culture and your Maori everything. In the countdown, I think there's obviously since in the last few years, there's been a lot of new MMA fans that might not have seen that side of you. So, I guess what's been, the reception or the feedback you've gotten from like American fans and international fans that may not like recognize that part of your life now that it's in the spotlight?
Yeah, it's just been a big part of, I want to put the spotlight on my culture, me being of Maori heritage and my people, and especially in Aotearoa, New Zealand. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us unique. And, I want to carry that with me when I go into the octagon and in the UFC, and not just educate, but let everyone know where I come from, that I'm proud of who I am and what I represent. And like I said to DC when he asked me, how do you have all these knockouts on your record? And it is because I'm Maori. That's my superpower. And that's just me speaking my truth. And come Saturday night, I'll be representing our country, making everyone proud. And just know when I'm making that walkout, I'm representing all of us.
Just over here. This will be Pantoja's 4th title defense. How do you think you compare to some of the contenders that he's fought before?
Yeah, so stylistically, it's a great matchup. He's tough. He's going to come forward, and I think he's going to be stubborn where he's going to strike. He's not just going to try and go for a takedown and get me to the ground. He's that kind of fighter. He's going to get even and, I guess, prove a point. And I love that about him. But it's going to get him hurt, and he's going to walk into a kill shot. And, I'm just ready for a fight. I'm ready for a dogfight for 5 rounds. And wherever this fight goes, I welcome it.
And he's never been finished. You say you want to take his head off. What kind of openings have you seen?
When he gets tired, that's openings when I see him getting a bit sloppy. Maybe hands get dropped a little bit. And just, whenever the fight is going through those scrambles and those in-between exchanges, I want to capitalize on it. But, I'm just ready for the challenge. And, I've got 12 knockouts on my record. He's calling me the Mike Tyson of the flyweight division. I'm the first Kai Kara France of the flyweight division, so that's the name I'm living up to.
And then last one from me, obviously, co-main event on a big card this weekend. What's your prediction for the main event? Yeah,
awesome to be co-main. I guess setting the stage. I told Ilya last night when I saw him at the UFC PI, I said, hey bro, we'll set the party off and you guys can finish it. I love Charles Oliveira. He's the people's champ. But it's Brazil versus us. We're taking on these guys, and it's just exciting. So I feel like my heart says Charles, but my head says Ilya. He's got one of the best boxing styles in the UFC. Pound for pound, one of the hardest hitting fighters in the UFC. So I can't really pick, but there's your answer.
Kai back here.
Yep.
Kai, you did an interview talking about growing up as a kid, that you were bullied and the emotional struggles with that. What would young Kai Kara France think of the man up here today about to challenge for the world title?
Yeah, just that young, vulnerable, helpless kid that was getting picked on for being the smallest in this class. Just proud of how far you've come, not just as a fighter, but as a man. And yeah, just, you know, look where we are, fight capital of the world. 15 years I've been fighting, and I was born to do this. So yeah, just proud to know that, you know, if you are going through anything that's, you know, adversity or struggling, it builds resilience. It builds character. And my whole fight career has been like that. I've had to fight for this, and it hasn't been smooth sailing. I've had to pick myself up time and time again, but I've always come back from losses. And yeah, here we are now, about to make history. You know, so many things I've done in my career, but I haven't ticked this off, being the first flyweight Maori world champion. So that's what I'll be doing Saturday night.
Maybe not every young person will grow up to be a professional fighter at the highest level, but would you have any advice to any young person maybe going through it like you were once upon a time?
Yeah, 100%. To our rangatahi, our young people that are navigating, you know, challenges in their life, just figure out why you're doing something, you know, and it doesn't need to be fighting. It could be whatever passion that is. Figure out why you're doing it. And when things get tough and times get hard, you'll go back on that why, and that will pull you through. So yeah, figure out that why, and you'll have a clear path of where you want to be and where you want to go.
Final question. Obviously a longtime teammate and friend of Israel Adesanya, going into the Hall of Fame for his war with Kelvin Gastelum. Can you go back? Do you remember what it was like as his friend and teammate watching that battle play out, and obviously went into the history books as one of the most epic middleweight fights of all time?
Yeah, it's been awesome, you know, seeing Izzy's career blossom and the legend that he is, one of the GOATs in the UFC and in the sport. Privileged and honoured to be, you know, a friend of his, and yeah, just see everything that goes into being a world champion. You know, there's so much hard work that goes into it. So when he fought Gaslam, I remember watching it and just being proud. You know, I knew that he wasn't walking away with. He wasn't leaving without that belt, and you know, Kelvin Gaslam's a warrior in himself, and yeah, for those guys to just leave it in the ring and in the octagon and give the fans one of the best fights ever, yeah, it just cemented Izzy's legacy as one of the best, and yeah, just proud of him.
Thank you.
Kia ora Kai, ke konei.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. First of all, mihi atu ki a koe. I feel like you're here at International Fight Week fighting for a title, and you haven't only brought yourself to compete, you've brought people like myself from New Zealand here with you, so nā mihi ki a koe mō tērā. There was a comment earlier about taha Maori and how you've showcased your culture on the world stage and educating somewhat fans on what that culture is to you. I just wanted to ask you though, as a Maori who has really amplified this camp, who he is and where he is from, how much that mana and kaha has really helped you in this fight camp for a title fight?
Yeah, this fight's bigger than me. That's what I've channeled this whole camp. And when they asked, what do you want to do for the countdown? You know, I'd already been a part of a kapahaka group, Te Poho o Hine Kahikora, under Jeff and Neti. And, you know, before I had this title fight, I was training just to be around that knowledge, to be around my Māoritanga and to be immersed in ancient protocols that our tupuna would have done going into battle, but also just to be around that. And it's really strengthened my connection, you know, to the whenua, to the land, and just, yeah, everything that embodies me. Before I'm a UFC fighter, I'm myself, I'm kaiwhare, and I'm Maori. So, yeah, this camp's been a lot different. So when the countdown asked, what do we want to do? You know, I still retain that haka that we learned for Te Matatini with the ropu, and I said, this will be my Te Matatini stage, doing it in the cage. And to have all my ropu there, all the tāne, all the men beside me, just showing our culture on this world stage and giving us the spotlight and the platform to do it the right way and do it authentically. And it worked out perfectly. You know, I had tears in my eyes after I did that first haka because I knew my tupuna would be very proud of how far I've come, not just as a fighter, but as a tane, as a man, and I'm proud of where I come from. So I wanted to showcase that for this fight, especially for being a world title, such a special moment. And it's been awesome to just feed off that Maori, that life source, and give it everything. And I'm just here, you know, I can't be anyone but myself. And I'm not speaking to the world, I'm speaking to my people. And that's the only voice that I'm trying to reach. Because, it's important. It's important to be proud of where you come from and just be unapologetically Maori. And especially in the day and age that we're living in, especially in Aotearoa, with everything going on, there's no better time to stand on your mana and embrace it.
Mauri ora, bro.
Mauri ora.
Kia ora kai. Tuatai ake me mihi ki a koe. E noho nei hei kai whakakanohi i te iwi Māori i a Aotearoa. Ko tahi anake taku pātai ki a koe. Kua ara rānei te mata hi taua.
Ko ara te mata hi taua.
Kia ora, bro.
Mauri ora. Cheers.